Hello, hello, hello. I am super duper excited that we are on day 4 of Healing Through Brokenness anthology with these amazing authors. This has been a journey that left me speechless, to say the least. But I'm very excited that people are very transparent in their story in order to help other people to understand that they are not alone. And that's the most important thing, because so many people out here are really hurting and they're looking to find a way to heal, even in their darkest moment. A lot of people smile, but they really crying and inside, and they just looking for a way to just say, you know what, I need help and I need to know that I'm not alone. So I'm super excited for this next author who is in the book, Dr. Aikyna Finch. We have worked together so many times, and it is always interesting when she goes deeper in her story that she don't really share too often, but when she do, it's time for you guys to listen. So with that being said, Dr. Aikyna Finch, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Vanessa?
I'm good. I'm excited for you. Because when I got a chance to read your chapter, I said, "Ooh, wait a minute, hold on. Okay, okay. There's always layers. That's what I call it. There's always layers to everybody's story, but so many people don't even share that story. And when a person do share that story, it's time to listen up. So this is one of those days where let's listen, and sometimes listen to be heard, but also listen to understand.
Makes
So
sense.
with that being said, Dr. Finch, I have a couple of questions for you, and I'm going to allow you to take it away.
Okay.
One, why did you jump on board to this journey to share more of your story in this Healing Through Brokenness? Two, what's the name of your chapter? And three, why did you name your chapter what you named it?
Alrighty. So number one, why did I sign up? Well, I saw the advertisements and I was like, it sounds like an interesting book. I honestly thought it was gonna be a book that you were writing yourself. So that's why I was like, oh, okay. Because the other book was, Breaking the Cycle of Brokenness. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, oh, okay. So she's writing another, it's the Brokenness series. I said, I'm here for it. And then, but then I saw that it was an anthology, and I said,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, okay." And I could see the point that it was a way to have other people heal from, and be able to tell their stories. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times, people negate the power of the story
Mm-hmm.
and the power of their story. They think, oh, that's somebody else's story was better than mine. Why would
Mm-hmm.
mine make a difference to somebody? It happened to me. I'm done with that was the past. I'm done with it. All those things, we've heard it all. But I realized with working with you for all these years, the power of the story. And so I said, okay, I was going through a new journey in my life. And so I said, maybe if I write about it, then it'll help me understand it. And I realized from writing the chapter that it had been a pattern. So, okay. So, what is the title of my chapter? My chapter is The Need to Be Needed.
Mm-hmm.
And why did I want to share this piece of my story? Because especially now with the great resignation and all of these companies splitting their companies in half, and people find themselves jobless, and all people deciding that they're going to start their companies, and they're feeling displaced. And and I noticed that when I was talking to other people and seeing the stories, that it resonated with me, because that part where you how do you say it, when when you are so used to being that person that needs to be heard, seen, needs to be you're the one they call all the time, and then all of a sudden the call stop, and the energy stops. Whether it be a job, whether it be if you were an influencer, whether it be if you were a person at church, even, whatever it was that you were doing and you were the point person, and all of a sudden that stops, that's kind of like a divorce. It's kind of like a
Mm-hmm.
rift. And so you were pumping, you always needed, and then what happens when you're no longer needed?
Yeah.
Do you have a need to be needed? Is that why you always put yourselves in those positions? And so
Mm.
when I was sitting there thinking about it, I was like, as I was writing the chapter, I was like, do I put myself in positions like this to be needed because I have a need to be needed? And so that is where the story started.
Mm. Mm. I'm holding it
Come on
in.
with
'Cause
it. I'm a
this
big
this
girl.
this is, people, just to say that out loud. Do you know a lot of people won't even say that?
Yeah, it's
You know what I
embarrassing.
mean? They're just like, oh, and they know it, but sometimes it could be a point where being needed to the point where you unable to function if nobody don't need you.
Hmm.
You have not. Do you need yourself more? You know what I mean? It's like even when I look at the point where like I raised my kids, and then next thing you know, now they're adults. It's like I'm used to just taking care of my adults. So
Hmm.
now when it's just me, it's like, okay,
Hmm.
what the heck am I doing? You know what I mean? You feel like you have it's something missing because we always taking care of somebody else. And so now it's like you have to rebuild, find another way. How else can I be able to help somebody else? But in the interim of us helping somebody else, we still get lost in the shuffle.
Hmm.
You know what I
And
mean? It's like
see, yeah,
yeah, it's like
you
you like
know,
you playing a game of
hmm
being needed so much, and then when they put out the deck of cards, they pull all the cards. There's one card left, but it's like two people left. Then am I going to be the person they're going to pick? And then if I don't get picked, then what I'm going to do this thing again until I do get picked. It could really become a trickle down effect, and it could really start messing with a person because I know I experienced it.
hmm 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 a lot of times people don't really realize it, but that's emptiness syndrome.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I raised all my kids. That's where I put my life and soul into. People
Mhm.
quitting their jobs so they can raise their kids. Okay,
Mhm.
18 years later, them kids gone, and what you doing?
Mhm. Yep.
You know, that has been your identity.
Mhm.
Now what? You know, and then it's like, okay, that is not who I am anymore. Do I mourn that person?
Mhm.
And see, people are like, oh, I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna start traveling, I'm gonna do this and that, and then all of a sudden the depression sits in, and they're wondering why the depression sits in, because their body is mourning that state that they used to be in, and they may be like, oh, this is stupid, this is no, but that is a change. They say that there's a list of life's changes that can really hit you, and it's a level according to whatever. And anything that has to do with a death, and in a case this is a death, you are no
Yep.
longer that person anymore. You have shifted into a new state, you shifted into a new being. And
Mhm.
so a lot of people, and you'll notice it for people, that a sign is, I really don't like change. And I am that person. I've been that person since I was a child. I don't like a lot of noise and I don't like a lot of change. Yet I have worked in industries where change is constant. So
Mhm.
people are like, how you figure? As long as I know it's coming up, and as long as I have a game plan for it, I'm fine. I
Mhm.
understand it's going to happen. But the moment that you put me out there and do something to me and don't tell me what it is, I don't have any buy-in in the situation,
Mhm.
yeah, there's a problem.
Mhm.
And you know First off, why do you think that's okay that you could just shuffle my life around like that? Whatever it is, even if it's just, okay, we're not going to be friends anymore. Or, oh, we're not going to do this anymore. Or, oh, we're going to do. And, some people like, oh, okay, that's just a lifestyle change. To some people who don't do change well, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And even people that need say that they need plans, if you shift plans on them, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
They have a need to know what's going on in their area.
Mm-hmm.
And just like if just when we were talking about all the different shifts, just because you don't need it doesn't mean the other person doesn't. And we as human beings need, especially in this time where all this mental health and things been going on since COVID, people are, snapping a little faster than they would have. And
Mm-hmm.
so you don't never know. So we have to be considerate of people before we just jump out and do stuff to them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's including the need for them to know what's going on in their life, for them to need to know how they're going to contribute, and the need for them to know that they are valued.
Yeah.
So those are very important points.
I've learned that I had to set um, boundaries on another level.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed and I had to be stern on it, and it wasn't to make me uncomfortable; it was to make them uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because so many people depend on me, so I need you to get uncomfortable because you can't depend on me because one, I don't want you to become my age and then next thing you know, you raised your children, you're doing the same thing that I'm doing. No, I need you to be at a place in your mind that don't always depend on me. Those days, no, because I have to live my life. I need to go do what I need to do because I spent so much time taking care of my children and everybody else. And I always took a back seat. Well, right now I'm in a driver's seat and the passenger seat. And then I made sure that there's no room in the back seat. So nobody else I have to carry with me on whatever this journey is that I'm on. If that means call selfish, yep, I'm selfish all day long right now. But I had to learn how to be that because I didn't even realize that that's what I was doing to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like it's solely me because I didn't have anybody else to help me raise my kids. So of course they're going to depend on me, which is, it is what it is. But now, oh my goodness, it's different. Can I call her now? And I usually answer, no, you can't because I'm working or I'm taking care of business or I'm just not answering. It's just, for whatever reason, right? I got to prep myself because all of that in your head, and then you already got your other stuff it's like how much you going to allow them to continue to dump. Mm-hmm. So if you got to set the boundaries and stand on those boundaries.
That makes sense. It's so funny that you mentioned the boundary conversation because, you have the people that need to be needed and then you have the people that need to take from those people.
Ooh, I knew it was coming. I knew it.
Yeah, it's coming. It's being handled. Yeah, it's handling time. So let's go ahead and do it, right? So
I'm in for it. Ooh, I'm in for it.
So, and it's so funny how they seem to find you.
Mm-hmm.
You could just be minding your own business and poof, they show up.
Yeah.
And they start off small. Oh, can you do that for me?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, no problem. Oh, can you do that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then it starts getting real, more frequent, and then the favors start getting bigger, and then it starts off. Oh, thank you so much, I appreciate it. And then it's like, oh, you didn't do it like you did it the last time. Oh, you missed a spot. Oh, you didn't add this like I needed you to add it. You were doing so much the first time. Why are you slacking off now? I didn't know that this was a position. I thought this was me being nice to a friend or whatever, or whatever. Now, you know, you have become a full-fledged leech. What's going on?
Oh, what's the other one is they went to somebody else.
Yeah.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
then turned around, came back to you because they got screwed over.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh, okay.
It's amazing how you could be friends with a person, right? They know what you
Hmm.
do. Y'all talk about y'all businesses, but when it's time for them to have a service, they will go and pay somebody else. And then when they get screwed over, they will want you to fix it for free because they don't have no more money.
Hmm.
So why were you the person that they assumed was going to do it for free, but you knew when you went to this other person you were going to have to hand over some coin? I don't
Hmm.
understand.
Or this is another one. They got so comfortable, and it's always an excuse now when it's time for them to be able to pay. They don't pay, or there's an excuse. I do it this time, I do it that time. And but when it was so convenient for them.
Mhm.
But then when you set again the boundaries, now you're the one who have the problem. You're the issue.
Mhm.
So it's like that in business, it's like that with family, it's like that in life. But I've learned that I have like no tolerance, just
Mm.
none. Because if I was another kind, it wouldn't have been a problem.
Right.
But the other kind couldn't bring it like I bring it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But
Right.
then it's like when you do support your own, there's still another issue. It's
Mhm.
like it's always going to be an issue because you won't let them have free range to run over you.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I have learned that I have set the boundaries so heavy with overall family, friends. What I just set the boundaries because it was the pattern. It was like, come on, how much more can you drain a person and take full advantage of their niceness, but then you turn around and feel that it's a problem when the person say no, like you allergic to no, or you what you can't, what is it, you just can't hear no, well what is it, and now you're the problem. No, it's not. I'm the problem is that you, if you were going to somebody else, you gave them no issues, no problems, but
Mhm.
because you felt there was a connection that, you will understand. Oh, you've been down this road, you will understand. But there's a time and a place. You just don't burn people. Karma is real. You got to be very, very mindful how you treat people. People do get tired. They have feelings. And it's not just to say they're being mean. It's just that enough is enough. And they have to set those boundaries. Just like you go to work. There's boundaries at work. There's rules and regulation at work. So why could it not be for your business then?
Mhm. Mhm.
You know what I mean? Same thing when you go with your family and you see that um there's always that one particular person in a family that's always got to press the buttons to see how far they could be able to go. And you're the only one who finally said enough is enough. But everybody else around them, they want to rally around them like you the problem. No, it's
Mhm.
just that I just sound boundaries. That's all. You don't accept it or you don't. It is what it is. But at all costs, this is my favorite thing. I'm gonna protect my peace at all costs. I don't care who you are. We got to protect our peace because I gave so much away. I can't keep giving and giving, and now my cup is on E. And I'm
Yep.
over here trying to pour out the cup and thinking that there's a little bit left in there, and there's nothing in there because I gave it away. So, Kina, how do you fill up your cup?
That's a very good question. I recently, during COVID, I when COVID started, I had a year that planned that was gonna be epic, and honey, COVID came through and sliced that thing up.
Mm-hmm.
But around June, I started having some health issues. Well, COVID still wouldn't let us really go to the hospital like that. So finally, around July, they opened up. My doctor started opening up, and I sent her a message. She said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna have to figure this out." So came in. I got my test on Friday. I was on the surgery table on Monday, and she was like, basically, the situation I was in was because I was overstressed. And it finally hit a head. Now, had I had that epic year that I was expecting, I probably would have passed out on somebody's plane somewhere. And yeah,
Yep.
whereas I at least had the time to rest and recuperate and things of that nature. But even when I had my surgery at the time, I had a boss. Are you coming to work? Are you coming to work? Which y'all
Mm.
see, I work from home, so all I had to do was have my computer open and type from the bed. Are you coming to work? Are you
Wow.
coming to work? I was like, yeah, I'll come to work. But in the grand scheme of things, that was sign one. So when it happened again the next year, I took heed to that. And, sometimes you have to realize that you are your biggest resource.
Yep.
And if you don't take care of yourself, then and you break down, what do you have left to give?
Mm-hmm.
Got to start taking care of the temple. So I
Mm-hmm.
started exercising again and I started walking again. Um, then, of course, with the new surgery, a new doctor appeared, and that was iron infusions every 2 weeks on the same time at the same day, same time. Me sitting there with the needle, me and the needle, and it was like if I had just taken care of myself to begin with, I wouldn't
Yep.
be sitting here. And and I was like, okay, Lord, I get it. So
Mm-hmm.
now I have taken a full day off and put a full day off in my schedule. It's usually Saturdays. And I will do my meditations on the weed. Not weed, I'm sorry. The my MetaQuest. And I will go out with family, or I'll find go out to a dinner, or go do something fun, or look up something fun that I've been interested in that has nothing to do with clients or nothing to do with work. And that has really been recharging. It
Mm.
really has. And I was that person who I don't have time for myself, but you know what, I need to make time, because
Mm-hmm.
otherwise it was going to be a third and a fourth time, and my body couldn't take that. you know
Mm-hmm.
and so, if you just to say, if you notice that, your stress is high, and then all of a sudden here they say you have high blood pressure, then you have high cholesterol, and you have this because you're sitting up there grabbing whatever you can eat and shoving it in your face while you're in front of the computer, while you're on your way to wherever you're trying to go, da 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 da. You know, we have to have an outlet, because people and situations in our life will take and take
Mm-hmm.
and take. But we have to have that outlet
Mm-hmm.
that pours and pours
Yep.
and pours. And yeah, this out, I had a lot of catching up to do. But, going to the salt caves. I like the salt caves. They're very, very interesting. For those who don't know what that is, Himalayan salt.
Mm-hmm.
And getting the ionic foot soaks and the massages and things like that. And people are like, well, it's a lot of money. But yeah, it might be a lot of money, but you'll be surprised at what you find out about yourself and how much stress you leave at that place when you're done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how I'm pouring into myself right now, and then of course I'm always edifying the king, the brain cells, I'm
Mm-hmm.
always doing some kind of little class or learning something because you got to keep that brain working because it, I don't do well with an idle mind. I know me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, but that's also a way of pouring into yourself as well because you never know what you don't know. So
Mm-hmm. That is good. I like that when you was talking about the cave that you go to.
mhm.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Oh yes, okay, this is wonderful.
you know, when I was watching something, maybe it was earlier this week, and this person had it was like the stress in their neck and it
Mhm.
was stiff. And so the chiropractor kept saying, dang, this is really tight. It's real, real tight. And it was like, asking, was there any injuries or whatever? What kind of work that you do? And when they were seeing what they do, they was like, oh, that's where it came from. It came from work. And it
Mhm.
was like, what? It was like you carrying all the stress in your neck. It's a crook in your neck. Your stress is right there. And if it's right here, imagine how close it is to your brain.
Right.
And I said, dang. So then, the chiropractor, he did his thing or what have you. So you turned your neck one way, crack it, turned the neck the other way, cracked it. But then he said, I got to do one more. And there was like one more, but the pain already went away from just the two cracks on the side. He said, no, there's another one. So did the rest of it. But the biggest one that he did was when you have to, what was it? You align your neck.
Mhm.
And he said, so I just need you to, tell him to give him instructions and everything else. And then by the time he did it, the person was like, wait, I wasn't expecting that. He was like describing, they felt it from the top, from their head through the bottom of their feet. And it was loud. And it was like, that's all that stress that you carried.
Mm.
All that stress that you carry, you telling me, he said, the louder the pop is, it's air. That's all the air, the stress. And it has to be released. And
Mm.
I was like, wait a minute. What? It was like, yeah, that's all that stress that you have from going to work, taking care of your family, and your body needs to get back adjustment. If you imagine you having a baby, your body is all out of whack.
Mhm.
So I had 3 kids, and I never had no adjustments, and I was like, I need to go. What? And that's all the stuff that you carry. And one of the things that I remember years ago when I had my shoulder was bothering me I was like, I couldn't even lift my arm. And come to find out, the therapist said it was like, the work that you do, you're typing all day, you're sitting all day, you're turning your body, but at the end of the day, you're still in that spot too long. So what
Mhm.
it did was build up all that tension. So now you got to go to therapy. He was like, you'll be surprised at how many people walk through the office because their job done broke them down.
Right.
So it goes back to how much more are we going to keep on allowing people to keep taking from us? Because we always like, okay, that person, I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. Now when we set the boundaries, they think we crazy. No, it's tearing up our bodies.
You're right. You're right. One thing that we haven't touched on,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that we both have said it in the past. Um, Another key sign of knowing if somebody is one of the people that have a need to be needed
Mm-hmm.
is they use the term servant leader a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They work in the background. And,
Oh Lord, here she go.
I started my career in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as far as like my social media, what have you, I before Periscope, that was when all of it broke loose. But before Periscope, I was going around to different conferences and I was doing background tech and everything. And you would be surprised at the conferences that I was actually in the background of.
Yep.
And but you know, it was like I remember the last conference I did and I was serving. And then one of the speakers was pinned up against the wall. And I said, and I'm sitting next to them. Now I was supposed to be doing social media, and so I was doing my social media, but I just couldn't overlook this anymore. I said, "Would you like to go eat?" Like, yes. So I pulled them away and I pushed them out there. And when one of the organizers saw that I was with them, you should that don't have nothing to do with you. You need to be um you need to be over there tweeting or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, hmm, hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I have been a conference organizer. I've ran my own conferences. I have helped my friends run conferences. I have been a speaker internationally and nationally. And I understand what it's like being sitting there behind that wall of people because that yes, they just want to know information. Yes, they just want to take pictures. But sometimes you get hungry, and when you're introvert, especially, that's a lot of energy that you done put out, and you need to relax, and you need to get to your space so that you can pour yourself back in. And they don't really understand that. And for somebody to say that had nothing to do with you, and you just need to go tweet somewhere. And I'm volunteering my time because I believed in the mission. Now it wasn't the person who was holding the conference, it was one of their people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing. You give certain people power, then it's a mess. But that's a whole nother conversation, which I'm not going to get into right now because I feel myself getting angry. But But
I
the
remember this
point of it
conversation.
is, but the point of it is that we need to see the speakers
Yep.
and the participants as people.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what if you pay them to speak? That's what they're there to do. The people should you even though you paid them to speak does not warrant you letting them get pushed up against a corner to the point where you can't even see them no more. Their fee was their fee,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the end of it. They
Yeah.
still deserve to be treated like a human being.
Exactly.
So, oh, I paid them all this money. They better do what? What?
Mm-hmm.
So the point is,
Mm-hmm.
you know, from a speaker aspect, we do have to be poured into. And from a person aspect, yes, you just want to be around and glean from the person. Yes, but there are signs. There are signs. They're still human.
Yeah.
And that includes when you are serving. Just because they're volunteering their time doesn't mean they are lacking.
Yep. Yep.
Because truth be told, I was volunteering my time because I believed in it. But honey, I'm far from a lackey. I had 6 degrees to boot at that particular time. Running my own companies, plural, and was working at a university training faculty and leadership. So no, I was far from a lackey. So for you to tell me to
Mm-hmm.
just go off and find, I need to be tweeting somewhere, no.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the respect level. That is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're volunteering. It doesn't matter if you're the highest speaker. Everybody has a respect level. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of these people that need to be needed is because somebody, somewhere along the line, somebody took their respect level.
Yeah.
told them that they wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
And there you go, contributing to the cause.
Mm-hmm.
When you could be building somebody up saying, "Oh, wow, you do this great job. Thank you so much for seeing this person, and we'll make sure that they're taken care of. You can go back to your job." I would have respected that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
But see, because you're volunteering your time or you're just this or that, another thing, then to them,
Yeah.
you're not on the stage, you're not doing da 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 da, but you'd be surprised how many people knew who I was in the audience, had saw the conference on my page, and that was the reason why they were there. But you want to disrespect me? No. But see, that's the thing. Too many people are letting other people
Yeah.
disrespect them. It has become a norm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But one day we're gonna raise up. If anybody have seen the movie
Mm-hmm.
Carrie, check it out. That's
Mm-hmm.
what happens when enough is enough.
Yeah.
One prank too much, one word too much, and you gonna see the other side of Sears.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't get that far.
Mm-hmm. But people, they do it. They do it faithfully, and it's unfortunate, and especially um in these internet streets. But anyway, so they do it faithfully in these internet streets. They be popping and locking and don't know not a Nathan, but they will give you their representative faithfully. And now you're jumping on board, and now you got yourself into some shenanigans. You just don't know what the Sam is going on. Or better yet, when people don't see you because they say you don't have enough experience,
Mm-hmm.
they overlook you. And then when you get to that place where they see you, now they want to work with you.
That time is
But
gone.
you,
Let's
mhm,
go ahead
mhm,
and say it. The time
mhm,
is gone. Just
mhm,
because you now see me, I'm not supposed to have an opinion.
mhm,
The answer is always gonna be no.
mhm. Yep.
God may touch my heart one day and say, "Oh, I'm supposed to work with you," but otherwise, until then,
Mm-mm. Yep.
it's no. Because one thing I don't do is I don't need. Not all money's good money.
Yep.
I believe money is energy. If
Mm-hmm.
there's a reason why I go into conferences with a hoodie on. Somebody asked me why I did that. I go in there and I look, real regular. And I usually go to the conferences where people are super flashy and whatever. And they be like, hi, how you doing? No, 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 And then when I
Yep.
take that hoodie off and hit that stage, then,
Yep.
I want to know what you thought of me before you knew who I was.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, boy, then when I drop them gems or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
then I get off the stage, then
Mm-hmm.
there's a line.
Yep.
Oh, but you had nothing to say to me.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
wasn't good enough. I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
worth talking to. I didn't look like I could help you.
Yep.
That's why most billionaires don't look like they can help you either.
Nope.
That's the reason why they look like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you got to be careful who you work with too.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be very careful who you work with because people will do and go around you and do all types of cutthroat things. And you have to be willing to, it's going to test you to see how strong you really are. Better yet, how strong is the relationship? They will test you and they will test you to the point where you will want to snap,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to know how to maneuver. And then you also, the main important thing is you got to know who you are. You already know what you bring to the table, so why do you have to display it when it's already what they say? Google me,
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
Google me. I get it now. I understand. Google me.
Sometimes the fight is not even worth it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of like find out for yourself.
Yep.
I noticed that I used to be really out there before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
the one thing that COVID gave me is calmness
Mm-hmm.
and peace, because now I realize that the sky was not going to fall.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Life still went on.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do nothing in conference. I didn't do nothing in speech. Da 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 da. Well, until September, and then when Zoom got hip to the game, and everybody's Zoom, they were like, "Okay, Dr. Finch, you need to come on up out of hiatus." But because honey, I was enjoying every last bit of it. But
Mm-hmm.
September's my month, so I said, "All right, I'll come out. I'll come out." But in the grand scheme of things, it lets you know that you don't have to be everywhere to get stuff accomplished. I can
Mm-hmm.
get a whole lot of stuff accomplished right here in my office.
Mm-hmm.
I touched a lot of lives on Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't in plane, trains, and automobiles to do it. I learned that my voice could project. I didn't have to be in those big stages, and I had to be in the big rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Life still went on. And I realized that I didn't have to have the this, that, and the other thing, because guess what? Life still went on.
Yeah.
And but then at the same point, it was a pivot. All
Mm-hmm.
those people that were up there and shouldn't have been fell, and all the ones that should have been seen came up to the top. It was a massive
Mm-hmm.
pivot during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And we start seeing people that should have been seen long time ago. And we start seeing things that we should have seen in ourselves long time ago, because we got to
Mm-hmm.
spend a lot of time by ourselves.
Yeah.
And or with people that we should have been spending time with in the first place, family, and not running around about people that really didn't care nothing about us.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of scales were taken off folks'
Mm-hmm.
eyes during COVID. And I could safely say a lot of them were taken off of mine. And what I realized is that I am my biggest resource.
Mm-hmm.
I need to take care of the temple.
Mm-hmm.
I do need to also be busy within reason. I need to keep my mind sharp, and I need to have conversations. I can't do everything. I can't change the world on my own all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Relationships are important, but it needs to be the right
The right
relationships.
relationship. Mm-hmm.
It's not the people who don't just connect with people that are big just because you want to be seen. No, there needs to be a true relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Stop all this using. It's not beneficial to
Mm-hmm.
anybody, because the drop happened. You saw many people fall down, and they did not get back up.
Yeah.
We still waiting for them. Where you at?
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
the people who were down there just had the door open for them to come up and be seen.
Mm-hmm.
So I applaud them using that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say, as far as the need to be needed piece, yes, we need to feel important because we are. But somewhere along the road, somebody told us that we weren't. And we believe this person because this person had clout, or this person
Yep.
was high epsilon, or this person was important person in your life, so you believed them, but you
Mm-hmm.
didn't know if they were broken, abused, confused, or whatever in their life, and they just needed somebody to get on their bandwagon with them.
Mm.
You don't
Or
know
amount of
what the reason
followers.
was. Right. You don't know what the reason was. They were a
Mm-hmm.
follower in their life, so they found you, who was probably they thought was weaker, and so
Yep.
they decided to go ahead and put what they were feeling on somebody else. Hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's why a lot of people are sitting out here trying to find themselves and all the things.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? Now is a time for encouragement.
Yeah.
Now is the time for building. We are still building this world back to where it was when we were, but pre-COVID. Will it ever be
Yeah.
the same? Probably not. But we are still in a constant building mode. And the thing that can be different is that we can build in love, we can build in empowerment, and we can build in truth. We
Yeah.
have a second chance to have what we wanted in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
The original was not working, and so he tried the remix. That's what I see
Mm-hmm.
COVID as.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so now is our time. We can rebuild ourselves the way we should have been.
Yeah.
And so if you have a need to be needed, then find out what the void is and fill it properly,
Mm-hmm.
not negatively. Find out who you are and whose you are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Find out what is lacking, slacking and unconcerned in the
Yeah.
situation, and fix it properly.
Mm-hmm.
There's coaches, there's therapists, there's all these things. I mean, all my friends, it's like everybody, oh, I've been to the therapist. I haven't been to the therapist. You know, okay. I'm glad they found they self. That used to be a taboo thing before COVID, but now everybody
Mm-hmm.
got one.
Yep.
Honey, they can't keep enough keep enough appointments now. You know, and in the grand scheme of things, you deserve to see your potential.
Mm-hmm.
And dealing with leeches and all these other folks
It's
is
not worth
keeping
it.
you from what you're supposed to be. You're so busy and focused on them that you don't know all the things you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important.
Yep.
You deserve to know what's past ground zero.
Yep.
You've been there, you done that, you got that t-shirt. Time to elevate, time to
Mm-hmm.
move forward, time to find out all that you can be.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in that season now. Vanessa's in that season now. We are finding out all that we can be. We're finding out why we were placed on this earth, and we are finding out that it is bigger than we both could have imagined.
Man.
So much bigger.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is, we have been that person that needed to be needed. We have been that person that was everybody else's count on, but when we needed somebody, there was nobody there.
Yep. Yep.
We've been that person. And now learn from our mistakes
Mm-hmm.
and find out who you are and all that you're about to be. I was talking to somebody and I was telling them wealth is not all about money.
Nope.
Even though when people say wealth, they are you naturally assume money. But wealth is wealth of being, wealth of sharing, wealth of loving, wealth of empowerment, wealth of being whole. I want all my wealths,
Mm-hmm.
not just the money, because the money can come and go. It's energy. It comes, it goes.
Mm-hmm.
But that being whole is priceless.
Mm-hmm.
Being in purpose is priceless.
Mm-hmm.
Being knowing what your passion is invaluable. So that's just some
Mm-hmm.
thoughts that I had, that I revelations that I got after my chapter, I guess.
But that
Because
is really good. It's like we have to find a way to fill that void
mhm,
in a good way,
mhm,
because people use, fill that void and it turns out to make the situation worse.
mhm,
So find what's that void that is empty that needs to be fulfilled, that space, whatever it is, but make sure you fulfill it with something positive, because you evidently the negative didn't work.
mhm.
It's like if you're gonna be recharged, charge the positive and leave the negative alone.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Life is too short. It's too many things that's taking place in this world, and we all have a spot. We got a position. We got an assignment, and we have no time to place um, any empty loopholes that's going to pull us down versus seeing us soar to where we know that we could be. We got too many things to accomplish in this world. If you're going to be on your assignment, take your assignment seriously and don't allow anybody, anything, any situation to hold you back because you already been there before. You know how it feels. You know how it look like. If you don't want it, then change your mindset and get to work because it's tough. It is. It's tough. But once you have mastered it, baby, that's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Dr. Finch, I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of you of going deeper into sharing because you don't do that often. Oh,
Amen.
in that level. But I'm very proud of you. And it's, we always have those layers of something new that we can be able to teach somebody else. And I'm glad that you shared, you know because you didn't have to, but there's somebody out there who feel they need to be needed as well. I know I did, but baby, try it now. Oh, but anyway, okay, so you learn a lot. You do. You learn a lot. You really do. And I think that really comes from it's something with those introverts. I really believe it's a lot with those introverts. We are both introverts, and I've noticed the introverts that I have, we are sit in the background. We are amazing individuals. We are sitting in the background. We're very creative, but for some reason, people leech to us. They just leech to us.
Jesus.
Leech, not connect. Leech to us. And so once we learn the difference, we start to make the right connections and detach from those leeches. Just saying. And I'm telling the truth, Kina. I am.
I know you telling the truth.
But again, we all got to learn, and we did. And so hopefully this will help someone else. But make sure that you connect with Dr. Aikyna Finch and get your autographed copy of the anthology that will be out. Healing Through Brokenness will be out next month. She will be able to provide a link where you could be able to order the book. It will be $15. And you will get an autographed copy of the book from yours truly, Dr. Aikyna Finch. So with that being said, make sure you guys stay tuned. Tomorrow's our last day of Healing Through Brokenness. This has been absolutely amazing journey, and I hope you all are taking notes and sharing it out and making sure that you support these authors because this book, again, it will help so many people. A lot of people, again, like Dr. Finch said, they're going to therapy. They're going to therapists, but then also, this is the last thing that I heard too, that somebody said they learned so much from me and they've been going through a therapist for years and didn't even learn half the things that I said. So you still will be fed. Get the book. Healing Through Brokenness will be dropping next month and you will not be disappointed. And plus, there's a twist and a surprise that will be announced tomorrow. So, with that being said, Dr. Finch, it's been absolutely amazing having this opportunity because we have not done this in I don't know how long. Of
Right.
what people will call us a dynamic duo. We still exist. It's just that at different spurts of times, but we still here. We ain't going nowhere. You can't get rid of us. I'm just saying. So, Dr. Finch, thank you again. I really appreciate it, your time and also your friendship.
Same here. Same here. I appreciate the opportunity to be in the book, and I just know that it's going to bless a lot of people. So thank you, Vanessa.
Oh, you are so welcome. So, with that being said, if you have a book in mind that you are ready to birth, reach out to Inspired by Vanessa to see if we are a good fit for you. Okay. All right. Now, with
All
that
right.
being said, good night.
Good night.